Hey guys, it's your girl Tina here. I am back with my girl chat videos where I'll be answering your questions from Instagram and Discord. You guys asked a lot of good questions, so today I'm going to be covering topics like intimacy, weight loss, money, finances, motherhood, childhood, and even share with you some of my young Tina photos. So let's get started. This video is sponsored by HSBC. They actually reached out to me and asked me to share more about my moving abroad journey, which I'll talk more about later in this video. Question number 1. How is intimacy now that Lila is almost 1? Are you referring to physical intimacy or emotional intimacy? When it comes to physical intimacy, do you guys want to know the truth? It's virtually non-existent, definitely not like how it was pre-baby. I think we are just so tired all the time that is really at the bottom of our list. Though it is getting better compared to when we first had Lila, that was just like nothing. We barely even held hands because I'll be holding the baby or Alfred would be pushing the stroller, and we just coexisted for a while. But now it's slightly better, but yeah, nowhere near what it was back then. Emotionally, it's lacking as well. But I feel like that's just this period at the moment. You know what I mean? I feel like we've got this mutual understanding that it will get better. We will make more time for each other once Lila is a little bit older and doesn't need us as much. But you guys, it's hard. It's really hard. I think nowadays, if we can just sit down and even watch a Netflix show together, then we're like quite happy with that. So our standards have dropped. Is there a downside to having children? Yes, just like anything in life, of course, there's like pros and cons. There is a downside to having kids. I don't think having kids is for everyone, and it's something that I only came to realize after I had my baby because there was a lot of things I had to give up or change about my life. So I'll just list some of the downsides according to my experience. 1, I am tired all the time. I do not remember the last time I had a full uninterrupted 8 hours of sleep. It's been a while. But I'm okay, I'm still here, I'm still functioning. 2, I also feel a lot more stressed out these days. I think it's just the pressure of just being a mom, keeping this baby alive, thinking about the future, running a business, multitasking, and then dealing with mom guilt along the way. It's just very stressful. Another downside is I feel like it's definitely impacted my relationship with my husband. We just don't have that much time together, and if we do have time together, it's always about Lila or the baby or say at work, and I guess date nights come last on the list. Another downside or con I would say is that you have a lot less time for yourself. So if you're someone who's used to having your me time and your routines and you like to focus more on yourself, like go to the gym, get your life in order, you have a lot less time for that. So I feel like once you're a parent, you're less selfish in a way, but then yeah, you have less self-care time, less me time. Oh, and babies are forever. It's not like when you get a pet and you just take care of it for a couple years and pass it to your friend, or you know, you can't just return the baby. It is forever. It's a big responsibility. That's why I feel like having babies and kids is not for everyone. It's a lot of sacrifice you have to make, but you know, in saying all that and just listing all my downsides, the pros outweigh the cons. Cliche, I know. It's a challenge, but an experience that I wouldn't trade for anything else. Well, not yet, we'll see. You make a lot of Korean content. Would you ever move there? Now, as you guys know, I love going to Korea. It's definitely one of my favorite countries. I love the food, the culture, the Korean beauty. There's just so much to do and film, and it's just exciting over there. The vibe is chef's kiss. However, if I had to move there, I think language barrier would be a big issue now. The fact that I have a baby, so it's just not that easy to up my life and then move over there. The whole moving process, as exciting as it seems, moving overseas, it's tough. Even though you get the new experiences and a change of scenery, it's actually a lot of work needed, and then there's like this adjustment period. And so I don't know if I would be ready to set up a whole new life and go through that again. Do you have any tips for those thinking about moving abroad? Yes, definitely. Do a lot of research. You want to know about the cost of living in the new destination, the job market, the schools available if you're planning to study or if you have kids, The language, hopefully you can learn the language before you go. The culture, look into transport, how you're gonna get around, taxes and their financial landscape so you're familiar and there's no surprises when you land. Also, I would watch a lot of YouTube videos or vlogs so you can see what people get up to and you kind of know what to expect in the new country. I would also recommend finding a community online of other people like yourself. So when I moved to Singapore, I joined a lot of expat Facebook groups. So it's really good for buying secondhand furniture, getting tips and tricks, finding rental properties. It's a really good resource to have. Plus you can make friends on there and yeah, like it's a good community to sort of chat to and answer your queries. Now, aside from the physical move, you also need to think about how you're going to manage your finances. Don't be a rookie like me because I didn't have a bank account for the first year when I got to Singapore. I ended up using my Australian card and I racked up a lot of fees, so it was not a smart move at all. I would highly recommend pre-planning and choosing an international bank like HSBC. HSBC has a lot of good resources on their website that you can refer to and maybe just draft up like a little checklist before you leave. How do you and Alfred budget living in Singapore? Alfred spends all the money on games. No, I'm kidding. He's actually very responsible. Now, Singapore is a very expensive city to live in. I don't know what it's on the list now. Hey, Alfred, is it like definitely one of the top 10, right? So we do make an effort to budget. I think like the easiest way I can explain it is just kind of give you like a percentage breakdown. About 40% of our income goes into living expenses. So things like rent, bills, car repayments, grocery shopping, just things that we need to live and survive. I would say about 10, maybe 15% sometimes of our income would go to entertainment, dining out, shopping, things like clothing, just random bits and bobs that we buy for ourselves. Then with the remaining 45-50%, that goes into our savings, which gets further divided by Alfred. I don't know the exact percentage, but some goes into our investments and then our mortgage repayments because we have property back in Australia, some investment properties, and then another chunk of that goes into things like our holidays. So if we're saving up to go on a trip somewhere, that is where the money comes out of. Is that correct, Alfred, my accountant? Does he approve of that answer? I hope so. He's like, I think he's hiding something. Are you like taking a percentage of our income and putting in something like games that I don't know of? Alfred looks like he's got like a very, very suspicious face at the moment. So that's a quick breakdown of our spendings. Alfred would punch all that into a spreadsheet. I think he downloaded it online, just a generic one, and he tweaked it to suit our, I guess, like a budget and lifestyle. And we use that spreadsheet to consolidate all our finances because we have bank accounts in Singapore and in Australia. So it gets a little bit annoying to track. Were you born in Vietnam? What's your favorite thing about your culture? No, I wasn't born in Vietnam. I was born in Sydney, but both my parents are from Vietnam and they migrated to Australia the year that I was born, in 1990. I'd say my favorite thing about my culture being Vietnamese has to be the food. Vietnamese food is delicious. There's so many good dishes. I love bánh cuốn, phở, gỏi cuốn, chả giò, gỏi. I can go on and on and on. But yeah, Vietnamese food is delicious and it's definitely one of the things you guys need to try. How much do you weigh now and did you lose all your pregnancy weight? So right now I am like almost 1 year postpartum and I'm pretty much back to my original weight pre-baby, which is about 52 kilos, give and take, you know, I still kind of fluctuate here and there. But yeah, I managed to kind of shred all that weight off. I mean, I say shred, but it was just kind of like slowly trickled away. But I didn't do anything drastic. I didn't have any crazy exercise routine. In fact, I'm probably a lot lazier than I was pre-baby. I'd say that a lot of my weight loss just came from breastfeeding. I felt like that helped me sort of, you know, get rid of the extra kilos and just the fact that I have no time to snack and think about food now. I'm just so busy and stressed out all the time. Not that that's a good thing, but I feel like that is what contributed to my weight loss. Also, I didn't really work out a lot after I had the baby because I had diastasis recti, which is when your abdominal muscles separate because, you know, you grow a big belly and your muscles have to move. And then after you give birth, sometimes it stays open. So my core was really weak. So I was getting a lot of treatments done at Orchard Clinic. If you guys are in Singapore, check them out. They specialize in postpartum care and DR is one of their main treatments. So I had to go and get this machine kind of like put on my belly, and it would stimulate my muscles to help strengthen it, and then also like slowly close up the gap. So now that my abs have come back together, they are a pair again, I started exercising a little bit more. I do a bit of reformer. I tried spin the other day and that was a bit crazy and too intense, but I intend to stick with it. But yeah, that's what I've been doing. I haven't been doing anything too crazy. Food wise, I eat the same. I think if anything, I eat more because I'm breastfeeding, but my body just burns the calories because it has to make milk too. Yeah. What were you like as a kid? Show us some of your baby/childhood photos. I was a very shy and timid kid. Like I didn't even go to preschool or daycare or anything. Like my mum just took care of like us 3 kids. And then when I went to kindergarten, I only spoke Vietnamese. So I felt like school was really scary for me. I had no idea what was going on up until about year 1, year 2. I guess I picked up English and I was a little bit more aware. But I remember my parents would drop me off and I would grab onto my mum's leg and cry. I wouldn't want to go to school. School was just so scary and daunting for me. Obviously, it got better as I got older. I would say I was a bit of like a tomboyish kid because I grew up with 2 brothers. I have a brother that's 3 years older than me and then one younger one that's a year younger. So we were all very close in age and I kind of just did what they did. So if we were outside in the backyard playing with firecrackers and just burning stuff, we were really bad kids, I would say. I remember one time my dad brought home a box of computer paper. I don't know if you guys remember, but they had like small dots along the side and it was just all connected, right? So he had a big box that we decided to rip up into tiny little pieces and then jump up on the dining table and throw it and pretend it was snow. So we did that God knows for how long, a couple hours. And instead of like picking up the ones that we ripped, we just ripped more paper up. And I think we went through half that box of computer paper. So when my dad came home, he was really, really mad. And we all got a smack on the bum back then. So that was my childhood. I will flash up some photos for you guys so you can see dorky little Tina. Here's me with my little baby doll. I had that bowl haircut, that's for sure. I feel like Lila has to have this haircut. It's just a rite of passage. Here's me as I got older. Here's some of my school photos. I had these really bad big rabbit teeth. This is me in high school. I was a little bit chubbier back then, had my baby fat. Are you a possessive wife? I don't think I'm a possessive wife. I feel like I have to ask Alfred this. Am I a possessive wife? He's silent. He's laughing. What does that mean? I don't think I'm possessive, but I clearly could be wrong because I guess if you're a possessive wife, would you admit to being a possessive wife? I definitely don't go through your phone and messages. I feel like that's because like then I'd be like, I don't know what a possessive wife does because I'm not a possessive wife. Well, when Alfred does go and have his boys' night, I don't ever worry. I don't ever say like, you better behave, you better watch out. A lot of you guys know him anyway, so he gets spotted on the street. If he's doing anything in the gray area, someone will come and report it. So I've got eyes everywhere. So hence, I'm not possessive. I am protected and prepared. How do you balance running your channel and running your business while still making time for family? Oh gosh, that's a hard question because I feel like I'm not good at balancing and juggling all that at all. I really don't even think there is work-life balance at the moment, to be honest, because if I'm at work, then I'm clearly not spending quality time with Lila, so that kind of goes down, but then work productivity goes up. So I feel like it's a give and take. When it comes to filming content though, I have been filming my content in batches. So when I was in Korea, I just filmed almost every day so that now that I can have a little bit more downtime to spend at home with Lila because she's getting older, she's more aware, she's like learning and growing up so quickly. Another thing is, I think because I work for myself, it is a lot more flexible for me, because say if I don't upload and get work done that week, it's on me, you know what I mean? I'm my own boss. So if I'm okay with it, I'm okay with it. And I feel like these days I am a lot more forgiving of myself. Like I don't force myself to stick to an unrealistic schedule, because when you're a mum, things come up, you know, babies get sick and then this, you know, it's just life changes. And I feel like I'm more adaptive now. I'm not so strung up on just getting things out at a certain date just because I put that deadline on myself, if you know what I mean. So I feel like I have that flexibility, but I think if I was to work for someone else, it'd be a lot harder just to balance, because I have to be at work 9 to 5 kind of thing, right? So days and time with babies and family there would be less time for that. So I'm lucky that I'm in a good situation where I can adjust my schedule accordingly. What's your vision for your channel in the next 3 years? Oh, well, I haven't planned that far, to be honest. I don't even know what I'm uploading next month. But I would hope that I'm still doing like content that I love. I don't know if you guys realize, but my channel has changed a lot throughout the years. You know, before I was doing mainly beauty, and then I've kind of pivoted to a bit of fashion, food, lifestyle, mum stuff. And now I feel like my channel is just, I guess, like an extension of me and my lifestyles. Whatever I'm interested in, if I can turn that into a video and create content for you guys out of that, I will do that. So I hope that in 3 years, I'll still be doing somewhat the same thing, but obviously adding to my interests and type of content that I make. I hope you guys will still be watching. The thing is, I feel like a lot of you guys have grown up with me, so it's really nice to see you guys stick around and enjoy, I guess, like my journey into different interests. So motherhood, for example, you know, when I started YouTube, I didn't think that I would be making mom content or showing my birth video online, but hey, we got there. We'll see what the next 3 years, you know, takes me. How is your mental health at the moment? What do you think impacts it the most? I'm a bit stumped with this question because I don't think I've had time to even sit down and think about my mental health. Like, I'm just so busy these days and I'm just thinking about Lila, work, and at the end of the day, I don't even have time to kind of reflect because I'm just so tired. I just knock out. So I'm a little bit stumped, but I feel like I'm in a good position at the moment compared to when I first gave birth. You know, you get the baby blues, and maybe I had a little bit of postpartum depression, especially when I had mastitis. That was very hard. But yeah, I feel like I'm kind of in a better place now in terms of, say, work and being a mom and just juggling all that. I feel like I'm doing okay with my mental health. Is it the best? No, but I feel like it's somewhat acceptable for now. It's definitely not gone downhill, which is good. The thing that impacts it the most, I would say, is just my role as a mother at the moment. I feel like my role as a mother comes first and foremost, and it's really like defining who I am at the stage in my life. So if I'm doing a good job at that, I feel like mental health is good. If I feel like I'm lacking or if I'm not doing enough, that's when I feel like it starts to drop. But yeah, how are you guys at the moment? How's your mental health? Let me know. I'd love to know. Comment below. Have you and Alfred ever had hardships in your relationship? How did you get over it? For sure, we have our fair share of hardships. You know, like, it's funny because when Alfred is on camera, people are like, oh, couple goals and this and that, but every relationship has their ups and downs. I would say, obviously, our relationship has a lot more ups than downs. There's definitely been a couple of like hurdles that we've had to get through. For example, like working together. At the beginning, it was really tough, and kind of just getting through that and getting used to how we operate and how we like to work and how to work as a team and work on this vision together. Getting on the same page was easy, but learning how to work with each other was hard. I feel like it all comes down to communication. Even with this new role as parents, I feel like we're good at envisioning our goal and we're good at getting on the same page, but implementing that and getting there, we're very different people. Just the things that motivate me and the things that motivate Alfred, it's very different. So I feel like when it comes to those things, we kind of have our little arguments and bicker a little bit. So it takes a lot of good communication skills to get past that. That's a couple of examples I can think of at the moment, but I'm sure there's definitely been a lot more hardships. But at the end of the day, none of us call it quit. Like, we don't threaten each other to be like, you know what, this is not gonna work. You know, we never give each other ultimatums or anything. So I think no matter what the problem is, we're more focused on how to fix it as opposed to just like calling it quits immediately because it's too hard to try. So I think that's what makes us a strong couple and how we've sort of managed to get past all our problems so far. Isn't that right, Alfred? You can't kick me out as your partner. It's not like a game. I'm your for life teammate.
Can't surrender.
You can't surrender. This one's a deep question. How do old YouTubers like you deal with the lack of views these last few years? And if one day social media stops, do you have a backup plan? I'm an old YouTuber and it's true. I've been on this platform for, is it 9 years? Coming to 10 soon? Gosh, it's the longest job I've had, to be honest. How do I deal with the lack of views? Well, compared to when my channel was popping off, I was getting millions and millions of views. That Tina Tries It series was a big hit. When I started that makeup under the microscope trend, that was a big hit. Obviously, my views have dropped off throughout the years. I guess because I'm not solely chasing views at the moment. I'm doing things that will just feed my soul and that I enjoy. Not that I didn't enjoy those things back then, but the lack of views don't really bother me as much because I'm still very engaged with my audience, my followers, and you guys are such like, you're amazing, positive, awesome people. So I don't feel like a big issue with the lack of views, to be honest. It's something that I've sort of accepted. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if you remember, but a few years ago I had this massive burnout because I was so focused on views, and when views dropped, my mental health would drop. So now I've kind of detached views and like what I'm worth. They're separate things, you know what I mean? So I'm not so bummed about that. But if one day social media was to just stop working, not exist anymore, what would I do? Hopefully by then I have savings, you know? I'm sure Alfred would have the answer to that. But if I wasn't doing social media, I think I would get into doing something creative still. I don't know what. Maybe an artist, maybe doing nails, maybe hopefully the boutique club will be still there and I'll be working on that, launching new products. Would I still be creating content? Maybe for a different platform, maybe for mainstream. I don't know, but I definitely know that I'll still be doing something creative. Yeah. Are you ever going to move back to Australia? In my heart, I know that eventually I'll probably end up in Australia again, but at this stage in my life, Singapore really feels like home to me. You know, I had Lila here. There's a lot of things to do here. I love that even though Singapore's so small, everything's just like 10-15 minute drive away. I'm not commuting to get to places compared to when I would be in Australia. I'd spend like an hour on the train just to get into the city. So I feel like the lifestyle I have here in Singapore is definitely what is convenient for me now at this stage in my life. Maybe as I get older and maybe if I have more kids or if Lila grows up and I'm thinking more about schooling, Australia looks more appealing. I probably will end up moving back. I just don't know when. Probably not in the next 5 years. Are you ready for baby number 2? Man, I have been debating. I've had this internal conflict. Like in my gut, I know I'm meant to have another kid and I feel like it's gonna be a boy. But me at the moment, I'm just kind of feeling like myself again. I'm like, yes, I'm getting used to this role. Like I've got time for Lila, I can juggle, you know, do work here and there. But if I had to throw another baby into the mix and be pregnant, it's just not appealing to me right now. And I don't really know when, maybe like when Lila's 2, 3, when she can communicate a little bit more, and then I'll be like, oh, I miss those like, you know, newborn days. Maybe I would go down that track. But right now I'm not ready and I need to continually remind my mother that I'm not ready because my mum's like, why don't you just have another kid? Lila's so cute, have them together. And so, you know, you can just get it over and done with. Those hard few first years, just get it over and done with. Right now I'm like, I want to make my decision to have another kid out of love, not fear. Like I don't want to fear that, oh, Lila's going to be lonely when she gets older or she needs a playmate or, you know, it'll be hard for me to have a kid later on. I don't want to do it out of fear. I want to do it out of love. When I feel like, yes, I have so much love to give that I'll just pop out another baby. So we'll see. We'll see. How do you feel? Do you think we'll have another kid? We're just so... It's hard as well because it's such a normal question that people ask us now, right, Alfred? Like when they see Lila a little bit like she's kind of almost standing and walking. They're like, are you ready for number 2? And I'm like, am I ready? I don't know if I'm ready. And it's such a common question, but like it's been really digging at me these last couple months, because I'm like, oh, I feel good again, but do I feel good enough to be pregnant and go through that again? I'm like, my dilemma is like, my life isn't back to its amazing life. Like, you know, I'm not back to the old me completely yet. Should I just get back in the trenches and just do it again? Or do I wait until I like am used to my normal life and then give that up and sacrifice? Ugh. I don't want to bore you with that. Let's just go with not yet. Not yet. Anyways, guys, that is all the questions that I have for this girl chat. Thank you guys so much for submitting your questions. If you haven't already, do join my Discord community. You can post more questions on there or chat with other fellow YouTube family members. Big thanks to HSBC for sponsoring this video. It's really nice to touch on my moving abroad journey and kind of just reflecting and just reminiscing on those memories. I'll definitely link you guys, so do check out their website for resources if you're planning to make the big move. And that is it from me. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I shall speak to you guys next time. Bye! Ba-dum,